Alright, EfilDay 13. I was thinking of responding to a conversation I had yesterday. Skeptical Heretic kind of brought up this argument, so I think I'll talk about imposition again. Again, the argument came up that somehow you can't impose on something that doesn't exist. And even though your decision, even though every thought you're having is completely consistent with thoughts you have about doing something to somebody who does exist, even though your intentions are just as rock solid, the probabilities are the same, somehow this decision to have children or impose existence on somebody is immune from the same judgment we could apply to any other decision you make to drink and drive or do any other kind of behavior that might carry with it some sort of risk or implication on the welfare of somebody else. I think it's clearly, logically, it's the exact same kind of decision. It has implications. I use Scrooge as an analogy. So here's the scene where he's become the new man. Yeah. And, Bob's your uncle maid goes screaming out of the house because he's crazy. And no, this is a very tender moment, actually. This is very nice. He gives her... See, he's not mad, even a little bit. He messes up his hair. It's kind of funny. He gives her some sort of gold thingy. And she said, "What's this for?" This is kind of a funny line. To keep my mouth shut. Yeah. See that? It's a Christmas present. Keep my mouth shut. See, that's funny. And then he laughs. Ha ha ha, that's funny. But no. I'm giving it to you because you're a human being and I give a shit about you and I think you deserve to have a nice day, damn it. And she's like, "A Christmas present for me? I'm lowly shit and you give a damn, god damn it. Holy shit. Life isn't so horrible after all. Hug, hug." Yes. It's very nice, right? So anyway, so she does a little Bob's your uncle thing, and it's just great British crap. So anyway, Dickens was really quite brilliant. My favorite, really. Okay, so go out there and do whatever, whore and slut and such. So anyway, and so she does something, whatever, Merry Christmas in keeping with the situation, which is kind of funny. So anyway, so he's doing the whole, okay, I'm going to become a human now, I don't know what to do, I want to send a giant turkey, hey boy, out the window thing happens, all that stuff. Yeah, I could do that, but it's just, we don't want to get lost in the movie. But, I could talk over the movie, I could do that. So anyway, obviously, Scrooge before he has his night of reclamation, and Scrooge after, has a different impact on the world. It's just the truth. The world changes because he changes. So I could also analogize this to, say, Bill Gates in Microsoft. He got into a very powerful position where he basically was the provider of the first operating system for the generic PC computer. He had different paths, different choices he could have made in terms of how he was going to behave and how he was going to provide this thing to the human race. And his choice is to basically nail us all into a rental agreement where we had to rent an operating system from him for the rest of our lives. Now, you could argue that he could have been very successful, made his money on Windows 3.1, made his $1 billion, had a very nice life, and left it at that. But no, it was his choice to be kind of Scroogey, kind of greedy, and to say, no, I'll keep playing the game. I got this company now, and this company can have a guaranteed income on fixing this operating system that I own. And I can keep everybody else from touching it. I can suck up all the other competitors that try to write anything that also does the job or improves on what I did. And I can, take them to court and prevent them from fixing my bad software. And I can have a whole bunch of people build really good software on top of my platform. And because I own, it's like other people, it's like I could own the copyright to the wheel. Is essentially what Bill Gates did. He said, I'm going to own the wheels. And so every car that's built on top of wheels, I'm going to be able to make money off of it because people won't be able to buy the car without buying my wheels. So they're always going to have to pay me if they want a car. And that's basically, if you want software to work, you had to have the operating system. Anyway, and so that was the game for a couple of decades. And so the world would have been different if Bill Gates just said, no, I made my huge preposterous amounts of money. I will now make Windows 3.1 open source software. Anybody can fix it, do anything they want to it, make anything they want out of it. And the platform is now the human races. And then it would have been a different world if Bill Gates would have done that. And I would argue it would have been a better world, a faster, progressive world, more innovative world. And it was his choice, though, to impose on all of us a darker world. You know, it could have been a lighter world or a darker world, and he chose to put us in Pottersville. So we can use the other Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life, as an example where, because of, you know, Jimmy Stewart's character, the world goes from Pottersville, this bleak, nasty, smelly, dirty world, to a world where people are living much more civilized and better lives because he prevented it from becoming Potter's nightmare. All right, so all this is to just illustrate that every decision we make has implications on the people that live around us. We don't live in the mountains somewhere where nothing's implicated by what we do. We live in a place where every noise we make, almost every fart, has a consequence. And the decision to have kids is clearly one of these very substantial decisions. You're creating another conscious being. You can't get more in somebody's face than to create them. I mean, really. And to argue that you can't call this imposition, like I said, it's as clearly as much of an imposition as me being some monopoly holding ogre who, you know, controls every penny that goes through a town or something. That would be, the imposition is just as clear, the control is just as real, it's just semantics and nonsense to sit there and abuse language concepts and ideas, and that's all it is. It's an abuse to say I'm going to wiggle out of the idea of imposition because the thing I'm imposing on doesn't yet exist. Like I said, we all are implicating the future. If I signed a contract right now to kill the firstborn child of whatever, you know, I'll use some other example, right? So everybody's always accusing me of using Israel and Jews as an example, but let's just, whoever, the firstborn child of everybody over 6 feet tall. Clearly, some of those firstborns aren't born yet, and by the time my edict is imposed, they could be. But at the time I made the decision, I'm clearly imposing on the future. I'm clearly imposing on a future circumstance. And the imposition isn't any more or less real than the imposition of right now, here and now. So we know that the probabilities are that it will be and it will happen, so it's just as secure an imposition. And it's just nonsense to say it's not, because that future hasn't been harmed yet, because it doesn't exist yet to be harmed. But I would be creating it, and it's the creation of the circumstance that we're talking about. So this is, yeah, Scrooge is confronting his clock, and oh, it's okay, Bob, I haven't gone mad, Bob. I did have a little bit to drink. I love the way they talk, though. He says, you know, he was late for work. He says, we were making rather merry yesterday. I am behind my time. And these are just great phrases, you know. So go get a new coal scuttle, and yeah, let's have a little glass of port and such, and yeah, we'll tell stories and whatnot. And so you go out there and do that before you dot another I or whatever, cross another T and such. Yes, not another idea, but you do it. And so this is a great ending, though. It's like, I don't deserve to be this happy. You know, that's what he says here. You know, because he's realizing that this is the value in life. The value in life isn't happening just inside this guy's head. He's realized that the value is happening in all of these consciousnesses. that's where the value is being created. And here he's saying to himself, look, I can make people laugh, I can make people happy, I can make people feel better and have this burden lifted off of them. And it's just such a power he has acquired now. And he acquired it in this very negative way. So he should feel guilty about that because, yeah, he stole it from the welfare of all the other people he destroyed and harmed and degraded in their life. But yes, it's now he has he is able to feed off of in terms of his own satisfaction and comfort over knowing that he has this power and using this power. And that's the game here. Okay, it's a value exchange game. It's a value creation game. And if you're going to create another human being, you've got to be aware of this isn't a guarantee that you're going to create positive value, that you're going to create somebody who may generate a substantial weight in discomfort and dissatisfaction, that they may not live a charmed life, and that pain and that angst and suffering will be substantial, and that it'll be on you. It'll be your consequential impact. It'll be your imposing on the world. It'll be your imposition on the circumstance of reality. Even if your child lives a relatively healthy and comfortable personal life, you still have to recognize that even creating a human being that has a positive impact in the world is not easy. Creating an ethically strong, decent human being is not an easy task. And your child may be a bit of a menace in its relationships with other people. It may break some hearts. It may do some other things that are it may create a Pottersville. And it'll be on you. That's just a hell of a thing to be casual about. And to say, I have some sort of right to roll these dice with the welfare of the future. And that's all you're doing. You're just saying, because you want to do something, you're going to roll dice with the welfare of the future. You're going to risk putting them in the drunk driver's car. And you're complaining because someone like me might say, you should have a little bit of pause. You should do a little bit of thinking. And you should be at least capable of articulating some kind of sensible sentence explaining why this right of yours exists and why you should exercise it in this affirmative manner when there is no evidence that outcomes are likely to be what you wish them to be. I mean, wishing doesn't make it so. I think that's a song. So, anyway, Terminator over here. He's gonna shoot all the cops in the knee now. Anyway, and such. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a silly moralization in there. You know, I mean, you're fighting for your survival so you can save the future, and I don't think I'd be worried about. You do what you got to do, but yeah, I wouldn't marginalize you wouldn't marginalize your ability to make it into that future by playing some game that I can't hurt any of the police officers. I mean, that's stupid. Well, you can't fatally hurt any of them. Yeah. Not much like cops. So yeah, anytime they get I don't root for their side in most movies. No, I don't. Just leave it at that. So what else? Is there any other, I think that I've taken care of it. I'm just mean that I don't want to get derogatory, but I mean, this is insulting intelligence to have to sit there and explain how every element of an imposition decision is being made by people when they choose to have children. It has every element of what you would call an imposing decision. it mirrors it parallels in every respect of every other decision somebody could make that might implicate the welfare of present or future human beings. It has all of those elements. It doesn't lack any of them but this irrelevant element. And to use the irrelevant element, yeah, it's kind of a neat irrelevant element. The irrelevant element might be a good movie title. Anyway, is bogus, and lame, and silly-tarded. So screw that. So that's enough. Okay, moving along. So another imposition video. Until next time.